Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dynasty After Dark, and we finally made it. We're to the last episode of the offseason recap. All 32 teams are going to be in the book after this episode, so thank you guys for coming back. And if this is your first time, make sure you go check out all 31 other videos. There's a lot of teams in the NFL, 31. If they expand this to 36, our July/August months are just going to become miserable. This is going to be that's rough. So let's say at 32 for a little while. But no, if this is your first time checking us out, thank you guys so much. You can find us over on Twitter at TDC_Calvin. For myself, you can find Dale at Dynasty_Dale. You can find the podcast on Twitter. We now have a podcast Twitter at X at whatever whatever the hell this is. It's going off the rails, Dale. We got to finish this thing up. We got to finish it up. You can find us at FF After Dark on Twitter for the podcast, and we appreciate you guys checking it out. And we're gonna have fun today recapping the Commanders. Dude, it's gonna be a struggle. My brain is already shot, and I'm so used to saying Redskins for so many years with Washington.
Right. I know. It is different. Yeah, it's different. And I wouldn't be shocked if they switch the team name again just to get out of Daniel Snyder's hellstorm that he created in the DC area.
Dude, I still can't believe they didn't. Sentinels was right there, man. It was right there.
No, it should have been the Washingtons. That would have been perfect for me. I love that.
You know, actually, what a good one would be, like, legitimately, the Washington Presidents.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun one. You could, like, I don't know what your logo would be, but you got your mascot. You could just have, like,
president. Yeah.
You could have your mascot be Trump, and then you, like, have him fight, and people would love that. And then you could have it, like, Clinton the next week, and it would just be,
right.
That'd be a good time. I'm not gonna lie, that would be a fun one. So. But all right, let's recap here what the actual team did this last offseason. Like I said, we're slap happy. This is the last one. We've done so many of these now.
Oh man,
that it's kind of exciting to be done. To be honest with you,
it is.
So let's start at the top here. The best news of the entire offseason for the Washington Commanders is they sold the team. Dan Snyder is no longer involved at all, so you guys are finally saved. You've got Magic Johnson and a group of people, whoever. They bought the team. Josh Harris, the 76ers owner, he was the number one guy, I guess. He's the lead face for this group, but Magic Johnson's on it. They've got a few other different people on there. So you got a new group, and I think that there's going to be a lot of changes over the next couple of seasons, and we're going to see those kind of come into play by probably firing Ron Rivera after this season, if I had to guess.
Unfortunately.
But they did bring in Eric Beinenemy to be the offensive coordinator. Ron Rivera is still here for now. Eric Beinenemy has a real chance at saving this offense and kind of carrying and saving Ron Rivera's job. We'll see. And this is the only thing I want to say on Ron Rivera, or on Eric Beinenemy. A lot of people have been calling for him to become a head coach for the last 3-4 years, right? Ever since Patrick Mahomes has really been really good. We don't know if Eric Beinenemy actually is a good play caller or a good offensive mind. He's been paired with Andy Reid for the entire time that he's been an offensive coordinator. There's off the field stuff that have come up in Eric Bienemy's past and blah, blah, blah. I'm not here to judge the man. All I want to know is he a good play caller? This year was the best decision for Eric Beinenemy because now he gets to go and take over an entire offense that has decent pieces. It's missing some things as well, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But whatever he does this year will be a pure reflection on Eric Beinenemy, the play caller. No Andy Reid, no anybody else. It is 100% on Eric Beinenemy, and we will know if he has what it takes to take that next step. If he does have what it takes, I do think that he can take over for this team, for Ron Rivera, and kind of a promotion there. But this year will be very telling for Eric Beinenemy. We don't know what to expect. I think it's going to be fine. A lot of people think that it's going to be fine. A lot of people think that he was the mastermind behind KC as well, and I mean, people are smoking some strong stuff.
I definitely disagree with that. With what happened with Matt Nagy and
exactly.
Chicago.
Right.
It is all Andy Reid, and I feel that those guys are competent play callers, but I don't think they have the Andy Reid magic. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So we'll see what they can do, and it's exciting. At least you got a new head coach or a new owner.
Absolutely.
You got a new owner, same head coach. Sorry. You'll probably have a new head coach by week 6 or 7.
Unfortunately,
you've got a new offensive coordinator, and you've got some good players. They had an interesting offseason this last year. Looking at who they were able to add. And I think that there's some good names for sure. They brought in Andrew Wiley, tackle from Kansas City, to kind of shore up this offensive line. They bring in Jacoby Brissett, Nick Gates, another offensive lineman from the Giants, Cody Barton, a linebacker on the defensive side of the ball. A lot of youth really decided to come over here, which was surprising. F.A. Obada? I forget. I'm so bad with the African names. These guys are rough, man. But they're re-signing their defensive end there. He's one of the depth guys on the defensive side of the ball. They still have Chase Young, who should be getting a lot better this upcoming year. Full year
as long
removed.
as he stays healthy.
Exactly. A full year removed from the ACL, right? Okay, they brought in Michael Badgley, the kicker. I actually like this guy. I think he was pretty good. Byron Pringle, they bring in him. But for the most part, they didn't really lose anybody. They didn't bring anybody massive. So the offseason, for the most part, was fairly quiet. They replaced Taylor Heineke with Jacoby Brissett, which I actually like, to be honest with you. I like Brissett a little bit more than Heineke. I think Heineke was okay, but nothing special. They lost Jarrett Patterson, which is why people are going to be a lot more excited J.D. McKissick and Jarrett Patterson, why people are a lot more excited about Antonio Gibson. No more Carson Wentz, so it's going to be a competition for the number one job for the quarterback, right, between Sam Howell and probably Jacoby Brissett. I would not be shocked if Jacoby Brissett wins it, to be honest with you. I know people are really excited. People are really excited about Sam Howell, but
yeah, they are. And I feel it's unfortunate.
Okay.
It's really unfortunate.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, any thoughts on this offseason and what they did as a whole? Again, it was pretty quiet.
I thought it wasn't. Yeah, it was pretty quiet for them. I think I think it's the biggest thing was the ad of Eric Beinenemy, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how they do it's a weaker conference as a whole, so I think they can be relevant most of the year, but as long as they get competent quarterback play. I really think I think that's going to be the end all be all with this team is competent quarterback play. So, I don't think it matters I think the weapons they have are decent enough. And, I think they're going to be a pretty good team. I feel that the defense is going to be good. The offensive line is okay. I mean, they did lose Brandon Sheriff a couple of years ago in free agency, unfortunately, but,
right.
I think there's going to be brighter days ahead for the Washington organization as a whole. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the thing to be hopeful for a Mander fan.
Yeah, right. So. While they're still the Manders, right? The Sentinels 100%. Are coming. The Sentinels are coming to kill us all, right? So, no, exactly. I agree with you. I think that there are better days ahead. And this is a good team. I just like it a little bit more with Jacoby Brissett in charge of it. And
I 100% agree with that, yes. 100%.
The good news is I looked at their projection. Next year, the Commanders, the last couple of years, their GM has done a pretty good job of keeping them in salary cap, out of salary cap hell. Next year, they're already projected to have roughly where is the number here? Where'd it go? I lost the number. They're projected to have around, I think, $40 million in salary cap already next year with no moves whatsoever. So they're going to be up there near the top, and they're going to be able to really do what they want with the free agency next year. So that'll be fun. I could really see new direction coming for this team, and we're going to see a lot of improvements for them as a whole. All right, now let's talk about a couple of the draft players that they were able to get. I will say this is one of my least favorite things that they do every single year is they just continuously hammer the defensive side of the ball. Yes. Like, it's crazy. Like, you guys already have a good defense. You can take a break here. Like, you can. I get it. Last year they took Jahan Dotson. They traded up to get traded back to get Jahan Dotson from 11 to 16. But they take Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback out of Mississippi State. People thought this was a bad pick, and I kind of tend to agree with them. He's a small guy, if I remember right. So wasting a top 15 pick on a guy that is
he's still 6 foot.
Yeah, but he's only 180. That's where it's a little concerning, right?
But yeah, I mean, I think it would have been better if they would have taken Christian Gonzalez, in my opinion, who
I agree
feel is the better talent.
I agree.
As a whole, but I don't think it's a bad place for them to go, because I mean, at that point in the draft, like, they could have went wide receiver. Like, they could have done that, but I feel they're good enough there. Like, they should have gone. They didn't really need, like,
they should have gone tight end. They should have gone Michael Mayer or Dalton Kincaid or whoever you wanted.
That's very fair.
That's who they should have gone.
Agreed. Yeah.
But whatever it is, and this is why, right? In round 2, Jatavius Martin, another cornerback from Illinois, like. Rounds 1 and round 2 cornerbacks. Like, okay, what are we doing here? Ricky Stromberg, center out of Arkansas in round 3. They take Brendan Daniels. They made no trades either in this draft. Like, they didn't have their third originally from one of the trades previously, but they made no moves at all really in this draft. So in round 4, they take Brandon Daniels, offensive tackle out of Utah. In round 5, KJ Henry, defensive end out of Clemson. Round 6, Chris Rodriguez Jr., running back out of Kentucky. And then round 7, Andre Jones Jr., defensive end out of Louisiana. Again, I thought it was a pretty weak draft. They didn't really... Like, I hated them. Okay, so I wasn't the biggest Emmanuel Forbes guy. He's a smaller guy. He's 6 foot. Yeah, he can put some muscle on, all that stuff. But... double that with a cornerback in round 2, like, and then you take 2 offensive linemen in 3 and 4. Like, it just felt like a weird draft.
I don't mind them doubling up on defensive back help, because I think there were some circles that thought Martin was as good as Devon Witherspoon at Illinois, like at least along the same lines, like a 1A 1B kind of field. So. I feel that they always need to shore up that back end, and it's not super good. Like, I mean, they still have Kendall Fuller, but like, they need guys that can play that back end, and everyone else is just a bunch of Jags at that point. And
that's fair.
They just need, they just need youth back there. They're pretty solid in my opinion in other positions, so that's why they went cornerback, and like, they might as well just try to hit it home, I guess.
They still definitely need a tight end, in my opinion, but it is what it is. Definitely is what it is. You know what they should have done in round 2? They should have taken our guy, the 6th offensive lineman,
Darnell Washington.
Exactly. They should have taken him.
Perfect.
That legitimately would have been perfect. Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah, there we go. Washington on Washington. But no, this offensive line, they have been decent the last couple of years. I think they're getting a little bit better. They've got solid depth, and that's one nice thing that Rivera's kind of always prioritizes, trying to keep as good an offensive line as he can. You're kind of limited by who you can get and all that stuff, but he's been able to put a pretty decent offensive line out here the last couple of years. Now, quarterback wise, we talked about it a little bit. I think Jacoby Brissett's going to win this starting job. I don't think Sam Howell is going to be able to do it, and I get it. He had one great game at the end of last season. I don't really care. Jacoby Brissett had a whole half of a year last year where he was really good for the Cleveland Browns, right? And he only got benched because they paid $240 million guaranteed to Deshaun Watson. That's the only reason why Jacoby Brissett got benched. So he was better than Deshaun Watson last year, and it wasn't even close. So I think Jacoby Brissett has the ability, and he's going to be able to win this job. And Ron Rivera wants to win. Don't get me wrong. Ron Rivera knows he's going to be on the hot seat, right? So
well, he has to win. And like, I really like Sam Howell. I think he needs
time to develop.
He could be something, but in the position Ron Rivera's in, he doesn't have time to do that.
100%.
He just doesn't.
100%. Yep. So, if I'm going to get one of these guys, give me Jacoby Brissett, man. And the problem is, he is currently ranked as the quarterback 43, right? And this is the problem, right? Sam Howell, quarterback 28. 28.
Give me
that is gross,
Jake Brisket
man.
All day, every day.
That is gross.
All day.
Like Sam Howell is going ahead of Desmond Ridder. No, thank you. Matt Stafford. Definitely no, thank you. Give me all the. Ryan Tannehill is going behind Sam Howell. Like, what are we doing, guys? It doesn't have to be this hard, man. It doesn't have to be this hard. Oh, gosh. All right, rant over. Let's go into the running backs here, and let's talk about these guys. So, yeah, Jacoby Brissett, you can get him for like a third-round pick, even in a super flex. So, yeah, sign me up for that. I'd much rather invest in Jacoby Brissett. Now, running back-wise, Antonio Gibson, you've got Brian Robinson Jr., Chris Rodriguez Jr. Is there anybody else? Jarrett Patterson. I think they didn't re-sign him, right? So Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson Jr., who are you preferring and why? And let me hear your thoughts on these guys.
It's in the running back room. Like, I love Antonio Gibson. I think he is going to be. I think he's going to be the steal of a lot of drafts. I think he's going I think he's around running back 32-ish.
30,
and
yeah.
In seasons he's been healthy. He's been almost a top a top 12 running back. So that's who I want. I love the story of Brian Robinson and him recovering from being shot. Doing all that, but he was super inefficient last year. Like, I understand he was shot. I get that, but that's how he was in Alabama. He was the Derrick Henry type, but less Derrick Henry.
Fair.
In my opinion. So I think if I want any guy, it's gonna be Antonio Gibson, and that's it. I don't really want any piece of Brian Robinson Jr. I think he can be the goal line back, and he could fall into the end zone. But other than that, I'm not excited about him at all.
Fair. I will say, yes, Antonio Gibson has the ceiling. He is the ceiling play, right? And it's all due to the pass catching work, which that's what a lot of people are projecting with Eric Beinenemy, right? Coming over and they're going to utilize him. I will say, I think that this is going to break out into more of a 1A, 1B type of with more delineated roles, right? Where Gibson's going to be the receiving third down kind of guy, where Brian Robinson's going to be more of the first and second down goal line type of guy. And I will say he was much better at the end of last year. And I get it, his efficiency numbers jumped up in the back half. Okay, he played San Francisco and Cleveland in week 16 and week 17, and it wasn't pretty in those two games. That's fine. But the 3 weeks before that, he played mediocre defenses and absolutely killed them. His efficiency numbers were getting better at the end of the season. We do have to take into account, he got shot literally like right before week 1, and he was back a month later. One of the bullets went through his kneecap, right? Like, not through the kneecap, but like through the knee, right? And like somehow his knee didn't get absolutely destroyed by that. It missed every major thing in his knee. Like, that's crazy. Crazy lucky for this guy, for real. But the fact that he was able to come back a month later and start playing, like, that is nuts, to be honest with you. So I think we do need to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, and I think that he's going to be more efficient this year. But we'll see. We will definitely see. If I had to pick one, though, I'm definitely going Gibson, same as you. I think that the ceiling there with the pass catching work is going to be much higher for fantasy football, where Brian Robinson should have more touchdowns, in my opinion. We'll see if he can do that this year. But I do think it's crazy. Like, he only played 12 games. He was 3 yards away from 800 yards, which, it didn't feel like it, but he was pretty good as a rookie coming off a gunshot wound. So I do think Brian Robinson is a little bit underrated, but his ceiling does feel a little capped. I'm with you there. All right. You want to talk about I don't even want to talk about these tight ends. Like, legitimately, I don't even care.
I think the only tight end to note is Logan Thomas, but
and I don't even care.
Yeah, I don't even care about him either. I think that's the only one that we need to look at and just be aware of.
Oh, for sure.
He's So
last year he had 61 targets and he still finished as the tight end number 32. Like, this is how little I care. Yep.
That's disgusting.
He's had one gross. I think he's, again, this is our problem as dynasty managers, right? Is he had 1 year in 2020 where he had 110 targets because he was needed. He was Mr. Necessary that year. The only year that he's ever finished as a top 30 tight end was he had 110 targets, 72 catches for 600 yards. It was not an efficient year, but it was just a massive volume year. I do not see that coming back anytime soon. So I'm out. I'm just all the way out on this this tight end room. Right. This is why they should have taken Michael Mayer or Sam Laporta or Dalton Kincaid or whoever you want. Doesn't matter. I think that you should have taken one of them. So any last thoughts on this tight end room, or do you want to go talk receivers?
Let's please talk about receivers.
Okay. All right. Even in Dynasty, it's sad. You can't even get excited about anybody in Dynasty, man. That's not a good situation. All right. Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson, I think, are the only two from a Dynasty standpoint that I want to invest in. Curtis Samuel's still kind of hanging out there. That's kind of Curtis Samuel's career right now is just 100%. Hanging out there. If I pull these guys up here, Terry McLaurin is currently the wide receiver 29. Seems a little low for what he's going to be able to potentially do for you this upcoming season. Jahan Dotson, wow, wide receiver 30. That's crazy. And then you've got Curtis Samuel, who has been getting a little bit of fluff the last couple of weeks. He's been doing well in the Beinenemy offense, but wide receiver 79 overall.
Oh my gosh.
Estimated 305. That's not terrible for a stab at a guy.
Well, I think in best ball, he's the one I'm most interested in, and I think I have him in a lot of best ball leagues.
There you go.
In all honesty, because I think he could go off a couple weeks, but I'm really interested in both, and I'm really interested in all three of those receivers, to be very honest. Like, I will show my Homer vibes, and it's with the Ohio State University, and with scary Terry McLaurin. I still think he's the wide receiver one in that offense, but I think it's a 1A 1B with him and Dotson, and I think Dotson is really going to try to emerge this year, in being that guy, and I think both are going stupid cheap in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And 29, like, I get it for Dotson because he's younger, right? 30 overall. Yes. But Terry McLaurin, he has been good. He just hasn't had a good quarterback, right? And if you look at if you look at what Jacoby Brissett was able to do last year for Amari Cooper, like, Jacoby Brissett wasn't an elite player by any means last year, but he was able to make Amari Cooper, and I'm just pulling Amari Cooper up really quickly. Amari Cooper,
I think he was
he was wide receiver 10. He was terrible after. He did.
I think he was like wide receiver 8 with Brissett or something like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, after Deshaun Watson came back, this was Amari Cooper's last ending scores. 8, 6, 9, 13, 26, 7. Like, he had 2 good weeks in that entire stretch. And this guy finished as a top 10 receiver last year. So it all came from Jacoby Brissett. And that's where I think Terry McLaurin is going to be able to absolutely eat. He is by far the best receiver on this team, in my opinion. And again, if Jacoby Brissett wins this job, dude, it's to the moon with these guys, in my opinion. So, yeah, Terry McLaurin seems like a little bit of a steal right now. He's only 27 years old too. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, and
I think he's going to be a big steal
for sure. Curtis Samuel's worth a stab, like you said, in best ball. I'm not really looking to invest in him just because he feels like a little bit of a roster clogger where you're gonna get attached to the name value and you're never gonna be able to start him. That's the only fear I have. But yeah, I do like this because they have no tight end, right? Gibson's going to be a lot more valuable. I think that Terry McLaurin's going to be a lot more valuable. Jahan Dotson's going to be a lot more valuable. And because they have no tight end, that's where I could see someone like Curtis Samuel coming up and having, maybe a wide receiver 3 potential finish this upcoming season.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think all these guys can be extremely relevant and extremely sneaky. And as long as they have good quarterback play, and that's what it's been for the Commanders. The past 2 decades, it's been quarterback play. So I honestly think if I think Brissett could be one of the more stable quarterbacks that they have or have had in that time frame. Maybe behind Alex Smith, but he was old and then broke his leg. So like I really think this team could be really good. It's for how much crap we give this team and their front office. I think they can be sneaky good this year.
I'm with you for sure. So, yeah, the Commanders, man, we'll see what they can do with Beinenemy. Again, people are crowning them a little bit. They're saying that Beinenemy is going to be a game changer for Sam Howell. I think he's going to be a game changer for Jacoby Brissett. But you can let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you have any last thoughts here on this team?
Nope.
All right, Washington. Better days are definitely ahead, but I think this year is going to be fun for you guys. They get to play the role of spoiler. Now, I will say 100%. It's almost in their best interest to be really bad this year because they need a long-term option. If they could get someone like a Caleb Williams or a Drake May or something, or at least be in the top 10 to be in range to go and try and get somebody like the Panthers did this last offseason.
Right.
That'd be the best interest for them. I don't know if they're going to be able to finish that low. I do think that in the NFC, it's a weak division, and this team is fairly loaded. You know what I mean? So that's where it's going to be interesting. Last year, they were 8-1. So, it's going to be tough for them to get top 10 this upcoming season, but we'll see what they can do. That said, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You can find us on Twitter at TDC_Calvin for myself, at Dynasty_Dale for Dale, obviously. And you can find the podcast at FF After Dark. Go subscribe to the Twitter channel if you can. We appreciate you guys. Let us know if you have any other thoughts. We're going to be getting back to a regular schedule here in the next couple of days, and this has been fun, man. It's been a long grind for this entire month, putting together all these recaps, but we are finally done, and it was a fun ride. So if you liked it, make sure you let us know. We put a lot of time into this, so any positive feedback from you guys is definitely appreciated. Until next time, though, have a good night, and we'll see you guys next time.